Hey, my friend, let's take a moment and talk about where we are with the Dallas Cowboys this season. I know, it's tough to swallow. Coming into 2024, the expectations were sky high, but now, with the Cowboys sitting at a disappointing 3-7 record through the first 11 weeks, we're looking at a very different reality. And let's face it, no one saw this coming. The team had the talent, the potential, but somewhere along the way, things went off track. Now, what does that mean for us, the fans? It means we're on the verge of something we all feared: elimination. This team, once hopeful of making a deep playoff run and even hosting the NFC Championship game, now finds itself facing the possibility of missing out on everything. It's honestly hard to wrap your head around it. The path to glory seems like it's slipping further and further away with each passing week. But before we dive into what's next, think about how we got here. All season, we watched as the team struggled, from key injuries to inconsistent performances on both sides of the ball. And now, after a series of frustrating losses, Week 12 is shaping up to be the most critical game of the season. We're staring down a battle with the Washington Commanders, and if things don't go our way, we could see this playoff dream officially slipping through our fingers. I don't know about you, but I've been feeling the weight of every loss more than ever. The frustration is real, my friend, so let me ask you, are you still holding out hope for a miracle this season, or are you starting to think that it's time to move on and plan for next year? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I'd love to hear where your head is at. Before we get into all the scenarios that could officially eliminate us from playoff contention, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. We're working hard to bring you all the Cowboys news and insights you need. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us reach our goal of 12,000 subscribers, so hit that button and join the Cowboys family. So now that we've set the stage, let's talk about what's really at stake. Week 12 isn't just another game, it could mark the moment we officially start watching the Cowboys lose their path to the playoffs. It's hard to even say that out loud, but we have to face the reality. The Cowboys' dream of claiming the one spot in the NFC could be over before we even blink. Here's the thing, there are 5 scenarios where this could happen, and none of them look good. Let me break them down for you, because this is where things get real. Dallas loses to Washington. This one's the most straightforward. A loss here and we're basically done for in the race for the NFC's top spot. No excuses. We'll start looking at a different kind of December football, one where we're hoping for some kind of miracle. Dallas and Washington tie, while the Detroit Lions win. A tie in this game is bad enough, but throw in a Lions win and we're digging ourselves into a deeper hole. The playoff picture starts to look even more grim. Dallas and Washington tie, Detroit and Indianapolis tie, Minnesota wins. Now we're talking about a whole series of unfortunate events. If all of this happens, we're just spinning our wheels, and the path to any top playoff seed gets narrower by the second. Dallas, Washington tie, Minnesota wins, Green Bay wins. Picture this, a tie, combined with wins from both Minnesota and Green Bay, and we're staring down a situation where our playoff hopes are hanging by a thread. Dallas, Washington tie, Minnesota wins, Green Bay ties. Almost identical to the last one, but with a twist on Green Bay's performance. It's like a nightmare scenario for the Cowboys and fans like us. A tie just doesn't cut it in a situation this tight. Now, I know this might sound like a lot to digest, but here's the truth. Any one of these scenarios could see the Cowboys lose ground that we just can't afford to lose. So, my question to you is this: are you ready to face the reality that we might be eliminated early? Or do you think there's a way we can still pull it together? What do you think the Cowboys need to do in this crucial game? Let's get your thoughts in the comments. And hey, before we continue, if you're still with us and enjoying this deep dive into the Cowboys playoff picture, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You know it helps the channel, and we'd love to keep this conversation going. Tell us what you think. Will the Cowboys rise to the challenge, or are we looking at a long off season? Alright, so now we're looking at the big game, Dallas versus Washington in Week 12. This isn't just another regular season game. It's a must-win for the Cowboys if they want to keep any hope alive for the playoffs. I mean, can you feel the tension in the air already? This game could be the turning point, and we all know how important it is. It's time to step up, or it's game over. For Washington, this game is just as crucial. They're sitting at 7-4, fighting to keep pace with the Philadelphia Eagles for the NFC East lead. So they're not going to just roll over and let us walk away with a win. Washington has been looking better this season, and they're not going to let the Cowboys play spoiler easily. But here's where it gets interesting. Dallas has the chance to shake things up. We might not be in a position to claim the division, but we sure can cause some problems for the teams that are. Think about it, Dallas can still play spoiler and make things difficult for the NFC East contenders. If we win this game, we send a message to the rest of the conference: don't underestimate us. Sure, our playoff chances might be slim, but it's about pride at this point. Every win matters, not just for the standings, but for the momentum it could give us for the rest of the season. But here's the thing, it's going to take a complete performance. We can't afford to have another game where the offense stalls or the defense gives up big plays. If we want to have any shot at making this interesting, we need to see our best football now, not later. This is the time for Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and the rest of the crew to show what they're really made of. So, my friend, what do you think? Can the Cowboys rise to the occasion against Washington, or are we headed for another disappointment? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Who's your key player for this game, and what's your gut feeling about the outcome? And hey, if you're feeling the intensity of this Week 12 showdown, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. You don't want to miss our breakdown of what happens next. And we're so close to hitting 12,000 subscribers. Your support really means a lot to us. Alright, my friend, I know things aren't exactly going according to plan for the Cowboys this season, but hey, that doesn't mean we can't have some fun, right? If you're in a fantasy football league, there's still some value to be found with the Cowboys, even in this tough spot. It's all about finding those gems, and trust me, there are a few players you might want to consider starting in your lineup for Week 12, especially with the Washington Commanders coming to town. Let's start with the obvious one, Dak Prescott. Yeah, the team might not be firing on all cylinders, but Dak is still capable of putting up solid numbers. He's got the arm, and even if the Cowboys' playoff hopes are fading, he'll be fighting for his own personal pride and to prove he's still the man for this team. If you've got him in your fantasy roster, he could still be worth starting. He's always a threat to put up big numbers, and let's face it, he's going to need to air it out if the Cowboys are going to have any chance in this game. Next, let's talk about CeeDee Lamb. This guy has been one of the few bright spots for the Cowboys this season. He's been putting up numbers, and with Dak's arm still solid, CeeDee is always a reliable target. Washington's defense is tough, but CeeDee has the ability to make plays even in tough matchups. He could be a solid pick in your fantasy lineup this week. Finally, don't sleep on Tony Pollard. Yes, the running game has been inconsistent, but Pollard still has the talent to break one open at any given moment. If the Cowboys can find any balance on offense, Pollard could be a sneaky good start for your fantasy team. I'd say it's worth taking the risk, especially in a matchup where Dallas might have to rely on the run more than we'd like to admit. So who are you starting on your fantasy roster this week? Dak, CeeDee, Pollard, or someone else? Let me know in the comments which Cowboys players you're putting your trust in for Week 12. And hey, if you're still new to the channel, subscribe and turn on the notifications. We've got more content coming your way, and we don't want you to miss out on the latest Cowboys updates and fantasy tips. Alright, so here we are. Week 12, a crossroads for the Dallas Cowboys. The season has been a roller coaster ride, full of ups and downs, and we're now at a point where we have to face the tough questions. Can this team still pull it together, or is the writing on the wall for 2024? As a Cowboys fan, I get it, the frustration is real. We've seen this script play out before: high expectations, hope in the air, and then the inevitable letdown. It's tough, and I know a lot of us are wondering, is it time for change? We've all been questioning the coaching, the leadership, and the future of this team. But what's clear is that something needs to happen. Whether it's a spark in the next few weeks or some bigger decisions in the offseason, this team can't afford to stay stagnant. The bottom line is this: no matter what happens in the next few weeks, the Cowboys fan base will demand more. We'll demand better performances, better results, and a more promising future. We'll be watching how the team reacts to adversity. Are they going to rise to the occasion, or will this season fade into another what could have been? Only time will tell. But let's not forget, no matter how this season ends, we're still fans of one of the most iconic teams in NFL history. We might be frustrated, but we still love this team. So I want to hear from you. What do you think the Cowboys need to do to turn things around? Or are you already looking ahead to next year? Will a coaching change be necessary? What's your game plan for the rest of the season? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep this conversation going. And of course, if you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our breakdowns, future predictions, and all things Cowboys. We're so close to hitting 12,000 subscribers, and your support means everything to us. Let's stick together, no matter the outcome, and keep rooting for this team, because at the end of the day, we're Cowboys fans through and through.